about it, what do clients want? We're going to talk about this on my next podcast, so I won't get into it too much. But they want their work to last a reasonable amount of time.
It's a big investment for it not to.
It's a big investment. And I don't think any client wants to really come, once a year, especially with eyeliner. So when it comes to eyeliner, I'm definitely not into, single needle work and, the pixels and, that really soft, light implantation. That's not for me as an artist. I'm not putting it down. It's just not for me. And that's not what my clients want. My clients want black eyeliner, or black brown. They want it to last, right. Okay, so you started on a single needle, but you do ombre. And you use what needle now in your career for ombre?
I like to use fives.
5 shaders.
For most.
5 shaders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I typically outline with a 1 or a 3, just depending on the type of the skin. And then I'll go in with a 5 for pixelation. And I got to say, that's cut me back at least an hour and 15 minutes.
And you still take a long ass time.
Hey.
It was your birthday the other day, and we're waiting for you like an hour because... I poke at all my friends that do, that take 3 hours to do an eyebrow. I know you're an artist.
I'm an artist.
I know, and
I do as I please.
Yes, you do, and I want you to. But you've got like time on your age. You're like 20 something, so you got a long time. You have time to sit there for 3 or 4 hours and do an eyebrow. Where me, Ren. I'm a little bit older.
Your powder brow took a third of the time that mine took today.
Oh hell, girl, because I don't have the time anymore. It's like, So I've never. I think it comes down to personality. To be honest with you, I don't have the patience to sit there for 3 hours and do a powder brow when I know I can do a powder brow in 25 to 30 minutes with my 8 shader. And if I want ombre, oh girl, I can get ombre. I just dilute my pigment way down. And I can do the whole brow with an 8 shader, just dilution and get a really good ombre. Or, just switch to like a 3, for the bulb. When I, once I started getting my powder brows down to, 30 minutes, there's just no going back. I'm like, oh my God, I got all this free time. And you can fit more clients in a day. Yeah. Do you know? So,
I like it.
I know you like it.
It's
a lot of my friends that do PMU love it. They love it.
Piece. And today I took my time. And
so was that 5 hours?
No, I took my time right on the dot. It was 3 hours and 7 minutes.
Oh my God, I killed myself. I would kill myself. I don't. Yeah, I was like, okay, I wouldn't kill myself. It's not. I'm being a little dramatic, but that's a lot. I can do an eyebrow, top and bottom eyeliner in like 2.5 hours. So I swear to God, and I'm not rushing. And I want to put out there, I'm not bragging. It's just showing the difference, I guess. Yeah.
You've been in this industry since the year I was born. Of course, it's going to take you that long.
Kill you. That deserves a swack. That deserves a swack. Yeah,
no,
so
but you're an OG. Don't take it at that angle. It's
I know,
genuinely like you are one of the most respected people in the industry, and you're gonna smack me over it.
I might smack you over. I still might smack you over it. Well, okay. So OG, I like that. I can vibe with that. The goat.
You're gonna be faster than anybody.
Yeah, they call me the goat sometimes. When they first called me the goat, I looked at Kat and I'm like, what the hell's a goat? What do you mean? What do you mean I'm a goat? Do I look like a goat? I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I like the goat.
We all like the goat.
Yeah. Now. So I poke. Look, I got a lot of friends that do beautiful ombre brows with the single or the 3, and they're taking 3 hours, and I just like to poke at them. But yeah, it's just that's just how I settled in to technique. I just settled in, and it might have had a lot to do with my body tattoo background. Right. Because once I got into body tattooing, they were kind of making fun of me of using small needles for an eyebrow. And it was Eddie and, everybody in the shop that got me into, the bigger needles, and eyebrows shouldn't really take 3 hours. It's this big. And they would say these things to me. And so when I was down at the tattoo shop, I took that to heart. and I really listened to them, and I started playing with bigger needles. That's when I started playing with dilution. Nobody in PMU was diluting pigments. Are you kidding me? I mean, that was
Right.
Yeah, and so my career took a change because I was doing single needle, 3-liner brows. It was taking me 2.5, 3 hours. And I found nothing wrong with that. It's just the way it was.
Yeah.
And I was happy with my brow work. But it was the the experience at the tattoo shop. I spent almost 2 years down there, and exposure to the bigger needles, different movements, and then starting to apply that to my clientele, and just gradually and organically seeing my brow work with the bigger needles become better and better, more efficient, and become quicker. It was nothing that I planned. It was just really organic
Yeah.
for me. And that's what I settled into, and that's my happy spot.
Right. Can I be transparent with you?
Sure.
You have shown me more in my experience at Girlz Inc. than I have in the $30,000 I've spent with other technicians.
Are you serious?
Versatility wise, absolutely.
Well, when
And-
you were, I appreciate that, and that makes me feel good. Well, and I think, and it's not like I'm trying to fix your work, Ren. I mean, there's nothing I can do
No, not at all.
to fix your ombre brows. They are on point, and they are the bomb.
And they stay.
They do
They
stay.
stay.
So
Yeah.
it's not like, showing you different but you had kind of one way of working, doing those ombre brows, and sometimes that's not as efficient, let's say, for really super oily skin, challenging skin. And you want to learn eyeliner. So
Yes.
and I'm not a fan of the whip shading movement for eyeliner work.
I can definitely see why. That
Right.
looks terrifying to
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
And a lot of people really do want black. They might want a smoky top, but in the lash line, they want black eyeliner.
You got to pack that thing in.
You got to pack it in there. And whip shading's not a packing movement. Doesn't pack in pigment. It implants very little pigment. In body tattooing, it's a blending movement. It's not even really used for it implants, but that's not its purpose. Its purpose is for gradient work, blending, like yellow into orange, orange into red, to get those beautiful gradients. The circular movement, shoveling, they call it shoveling in body tattooing. Those movements are for really getting a lot of pigment in the skin, getting that sticker look that, we want a lot for tattoos. And so I wanted to teach it. Well, I think that's why you came to Girlz Inc. to learn other ways not to walk away from what you're already doing, but to add to what you're already doing, to become more versatile and a more well-rounded artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's crazy to me because I just look back even a year ago, and I don't know how I ever did anything without circles. And I only ever did circling for removals, or I would just use a little soft tap and do little circles.
Yeah.
But, it's just, I'm really appreciative now. We're starting to hit that shift in traditional tattooing, and I've noticed it with a lot of artists lately.
Yeah.
They want to go back to a little bit more of an old traditional
Because you know
style.
why? Their clients are complaining
Yeah,
that the work is not staying
I believe it.
and it's not lasting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to be all about the client, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does. But you know what? I was going to say what's really interesting, but it is interesting, but it's also really kind of annoying to me. It frustrates me a little bit. Is that a lot of the young generation of artists, they consider the circular movement an old school, dated movement.
Because they relate it to a striking brow, and they can't wrap their heads around thinking that they can be able to be creative with that movement.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. They connect that to that solid sticker 80s, 90s looking eyebrow.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, you can get that kind of eyebrow with lots of different movements.
You could do that with pendulum whip shading with a one-liner.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. But with the circular movement, man, you can get ombre super soft and powdery, and you know, and so, yeah, so, you know, I'm trying to discredit that myth and educate, you know, the new generation of artists to be more open-minded.
Yeah.
And look at the, you know, the six core movements. Actually, now there's probably 7 core movements in our industry, because now our industry is moving into tiny tattoos, which incorporates a whole new movement, and that's traditional line work.
Yeah.
Right? Which we don't really do in PMU unless you do a one pull hair stroke, right? Then that's a little bit like traditional tattoo line work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's important for us to learn all the movements: circular, shoveling, pointillism, whip shading, pendulum, all of them, and use them as needed, whichever one's going to give you the best result most efficiently. And have fun. It's fun using all the different movements.
It should be a tattoo.
Yeah.
It should not be a semi-permanent. It should be as much as it can. Of course, it is going to fade. Of course, it is going to oxidize over time in about 5-6 years. But we should be using the right techniques for it to be, you know, worth $500, $600, $700.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. 100. Yeah, I agree. I mean, the less we have to tattoo the same area, the better, the healthier for the skin, right?
Right.
So it's all about the integrity of the skin as well. We don't know how often, you know, tattooing like a pair of eyebrows once a year, same spot once a year, how many years will it take for that skin to start developing scar tissue, or do you know what I mean? I mean, I don't know if anybody really has that answer. I mean, I don't, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but I think about the integrity of the skin. I think too, Ren, another misconception is I think a lot of artists feel that they're going to miss out on income. And I've seen a lot of artists state this, they're going to miss out on that those refresh free, those once a year fees, and they're going to their clientele is going to drop. And I think it's just the opposite. I think it's insane to think like that. I think it's just the opposite. I built my reputation, and I think Girlz Inc. as a whole built their reputation that our work lasts. Yeah. And that's how we got so damn busy. That's how I got booked out 8 months in advance. That's why I had to open up a studio and bring, you know, Amber and Michonne under me, because I couldn't handle my clientele anymore. It was taking 8 months to get anybody in my book. And it was because my work lasted. My eyeliner lasts, you know, 5, 7, 8, 9 years.
Wow.
My eyebrows, minimum 2.
Yeah.
I would say 2 to 5 years.
Everybody's super different.
Everybody's super different, right? Depends on their lifestyle, their health, sun, oil. Right. But word travels, you know, one of my clients can be sitting at the salon and they're talking to, you know, somebody that goes somewhere else, and she's saying, well, you know, I have to go and get my eyeliner done once a year because it falls out. And then my client's like, are you kidding me? You should go see my girl. Yeah, her eyeliner lasts, you know, 5 years. And then the client who has to go once a year is like, are you serious? Oh, let me have her name. I would hear that. Like, that was the constant throughout my career, my building stages when I was building my clientele. Yeah. Yeah.
I think we as technicians should really be thinking in the client's shoes when it comes to how we conduct our art and our service. Because if you are really, and I'm a little baffled, like my jaw was through the floor when you just said that about how, you know, some people like to have their repeat clients to come in.
Yeah, 100%. And I've seen them say it, just flat out say it, admit it, like, you know, it's just part of, it's how they think. It's how they earn their money. If the client's coming in once a year or once every year and a half, that's their refresh. That's their income. Right. Part of their income. They're afraid their income will drop.
I'm with you on thinking the opposite. I think that word of mouth of really have something that's going to stay, that's going to last with you forever. And that can stick with you even 5 years after you have your initial appointment with the client, if you do it right. Yeah. If you saturate it well enough. But I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. You know, I certainly don't think, you know, our work should last, you know, forever or too long, because that can be detrimental as well. We do want it to fade out of the skin.
Yeah.
You know, as you know, to have the opportunity to
neutralize.
And to adjust the shape as a client ages or whatnot. So yeah.